Welcome to St. Andrew United Church of Christ and to our Weekday Reflection. We've been doing a series for a number of weeks, and today's the last of that series. It's a series of UCC firsts, things that happened first in our denomination, the United Church of Christ. Today's first is a little bit different once again because today it's about our hymnal. Our hymnal, which is called the New Century Hymnal, was published by the United Church of Christ in 1995. And it's the first hymn book released by a Christian church that honors in equal measure male and female images of God. Although its poetry is contemporary, its theology is traditional. The hymnal contains a wide variety of traditional Christian hymns and worship songs. It includes many contemporary hymns and songs. And it includes a substantial selection of what's called world music, hymns and worship songs from non-European American origin. It includes a full lectionary-based psalter, an opportunity to sing the psalms. It has service music selections, and it has a selection of liturgies from the UCC Book of Worship, which was published in 1986. In addition to using language that's inclusive in the way it speaks about God and human beings, the hymnal also avoids archaic language like thee and thine, betide, since those words are really losing their meaning to newer generations. As you can imagine, when the New Century Hymnal came out, many people in congregations immediately loved it and wanted to get it right away. And at the same time, there were many others who didn't like the changes and didn't want to get the new hymnal. They were especially upset about changes that had been made to some of their favorite hymns. Change is often hard, and the United Church of Christ Hymnal Committee knew some of these changes might be difficult. And that's part of why they named it the New Century Hymnal, a name that helped imply that it was being written not just for right now in 1995, but for the new century that lie ahead. Our faith often calls us forward into new ways of living out our faith, and the United Church of Christ has always been good at looking ahead at what comes next, and all the ways that God is still speaking. At St. Andrew United Church of Christ, we use the New Century Hymnal every week, and we also use some hymns sometimes from the hymnal that's called the Singing Church, known by many of our folks as the Red Hymnal. We still have folks who prefer one hymnal over the other. The reason I know that is because I have had folks tell me to please make sure to use the New Century Hymnal at their funeral, while others have told me to please promise to use the old Red Hymnal at their funeral. We're all different, and that's okay. Hymns are a beautiful and central part of our worship and our faith, so I'm glad that what we sing is important to people. The tunes of the hymns carry meaning all on their own and can really move us in so many ways. And the words are important too. When hymns are chosen for worship, it's with the hope that the words and the tune together will engage the congregants and help the words of worship come even more alive through the music. That's why one of the things that I really love about our New Century Hymnal is that it not only has old hymns with updated language, but it also has new hymns. Now, of course, when we're talking about hymns being new, some folks will laugh because the new hymns are usually at least 20 to 30 years old. So new is kind of relative. The hymn that JR is playing and singing today is a beautiful hymn, thought of as a new hymn, even though it was written in 1989. The name of the hymn is Bring Many Names, and it was written by Brian Wren in 1989. And the tune was composed in the same year, especially for this text. I hope you'll let the deeply meaningful words soak in as the beautiful tune feeds your soul. And together, may they offer you a sacred moment today.